Hey, ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Colin Ulrich,
And I'm Ringru. Hello, hello, hello.
and today we're on Bois de la Mort. This is Steel Division Normandy 44, and who do we have playing today, my friend?
Well, on the left-hand side in blue, we have Partisano as
Hmm.
the 2nd Infantry Division, American. And on the right-hand side in red, we have Turgon as
Oh,
the
God.
12th SS Panzer Division.
You want him to yell at me, don't you? You
He,
want him to yell at me.
well, he can yell at me, he can yell at you, you know.
That's fair.
Yeah, I, I,
I was-
I I have trouble saying my own name either, so...
If I do to somebody else, I think I called you kangaroo, so I think that makes sense.
That's not new. That's rather common.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, but we have ourselves a bit of Sherwood Forest action that's going to be going on here today. Tell us about how these two guys are going to match on up.
Well, in the forest, it's gonna be a little bit tricky for Turgeon because he only has really Panzer Grenadiers, which aren't great at CQC, while Partisano can bring in flamethrower guys, which are
Hmm.
pretty good in clearing out the forest, range and marauders for the bazookas, and yeah, it's really just those rangers are good bloody infantry units. Rest of the map, yo, I mean, he got a lot of very good defensive positions for Partisano with AT guns, because that's right, he's good at with the 2nd Infantry. So, really for Turgeon, it's gonna be about probably trying to play that southern and middle area of the map and trying to use tanks, yeah, instead of, well, fighting over the forest. But at the same time, Khan, I wouldn't want to give up the forest entirely because that's a lot of ground.
True. True. Honestly, if really all you need to do is just take it with infantry, you can start sneaking on by with a bunch of tanks. Even if you
Hmm.
go against that northern border right there, it'll be slow, but they can do it.
Yeah, I mean, in the forest area, he wants to try and get into his open places, put his Panther 2 Lukes and other fire support, yeah. So just for help, he's just gonna 222 instead of that Panther 2 Lukes. And I'm gonna
Hmm.
be surprised. Well, I'm gonna guess Turgeon's not gonna get a Firefly because there's not really that much to worry about. Well, Partisan can get an M4, but on this map, I wouldn't say a Firefly is great because there's not many open ground engagements for it to take advantage of.
And that's definitely fair. So, help me out. We are seeing a fair bit of anti-tank weaponry, even across all three sections of the American deployment.
Oh yeah.
Are we seeing any surprises from the Germans?
Nothing so much. I mean, a few Panzer Grenadiers and here and there, but can he get Pioneers and A phase? And don't exactly remember, but it's very, very infantry focused from Turgeon.
Now,
Very
it is
infantry focused.
the Hitler Jugend, of course,
Hmm.
and we've actually seen a couple more. No, it keeps going in and out. Those 222s come out, they come in. They come out, they come in. Hey, but we are going to see that Luke's after all, so
There we go.
fantastic.
I do
Hooray.
love that Luke's. It's yeah, we talked about this before, but it's a pretty cute looking tank.
And kind of deadly-ish as well. Germans are
Yeah.
going for a very aggressive push, I would say. Actually, kind of stunned by how aggressive this initial breakout's trying to be.
And I don't. Well, both sides are pretty even in terms of points, but I would give the A phase advantage to Partisan as he just has better units.
Hmm. Fair, fair. And actually, as the game goes further and further along, with all the rifles and everything that starts to kind of come in, does that advantage get even worse, or does it get better for the Germans?
It gets better later on because Panthers,
Hmm.
and really for Partisan, it's all about Rangers, and I wouldn't be surprised if he took a lot of Rangers in A phase, so he doesn't have many rifles to bring out during B or C.
Seems fair. And I'm trying to think about the look at the Americans for a second here. I am seeing just a couple of recon squads, nothing really too incredibly different.
Not just, I believe those are some Ranger Marauders, which are good choice. Bazookas help blow up tanks, and we're in fight against the tank division. You got a lot of tanks to blow up.
Deflect off other armor, but I know what you mean. I got you. All right. We are seeing that people starting to pour out of these trucks. I'm going to guess we'll see a lot of action in this kind of anything north of that T forest in the middle part of the field.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, though, I don't see a lot of action initially happening on the southern side.
No, both sides are setting up defensive positions, so Partisan could definitely make something happen if he was to move. Nah, both sides are actually pretty defensive. I mean, there's a lot of open ground between them and the enemy.
And this 50 M1 is not quite able to get that shot off, and I'm Part of me is praying he's going to pin down that.
Yep.
There we go.
The
All right.
222 is tracked, so it's not exactly going to be able to move up. And they've got Ranger Marauders, Leaders, and Assaults clearing through the forest. And they're going to try and get a flank on the Panzergrens. And even though Rangers are very good, they were nerfed a little bit in the recent patch because veterancy isn't as good as it was before. Though against these Panzergrens, I do give them a pretty good chance.
Now, you're talking about the patch that just kind of came out. Can you tell us any more about that patch as we watch, really, those Rangers slowly push the Germans right back out of the forest?
Yeah, really, the veterancy's been nerfed a little bit. I believe once you get to 2-star veterancy, it's now 25% instead of 30% bonuses. Because beforehand, it got rather ridiculous. But, AA is better, of course, and a few other bits and bobs. It wasn't a huge patch considering in terms of amount changed, but it definitely changed up the playstyle quite a bit because, you know, I know I'm seeing more infantry style divisions such as 2nd Infantry being played.
Fair enough. Now, we did see the 222 get taken out by that Ranger Marauder, but then the Ranger Marauder can, additionally buys it.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to see instead a Verbovind coming on out. Now, if I remember correctly, you just did a video on Verbovinds, didn't you? Or was that the Ostwind?
Yeah, it was the Rebelwind. The unit of the Recon. It's a fun unit. It's great for fire support because it's got a lot of 20mm cannons. So in this forest, it will do damn good. And with the buff, because HE on AA units got buffed, they should be better against infantry now. But they're already good against infantry to begin with.
Now, I do want to note, I was a little bit wrong. Apparently, we are going to see some action down to the southern side, but it's just basically a blob attack, and I can't help but feel that these guys are going to get torn to pieces if they continue to try to move out.
Yeah, that was a little bit silly. I mean, Ranger supports actually have... No, actually pretty even in terms of fighting against the Panzer Grenadiers with machine guns. So, funnily enough, the M1919 shoot faster than the MG42s. The 76mm gives them some fire support, but... really, for this southern attack to work, you really need like a vehicle, such as a T-30 or an M4 Sherman, to help out.
I do want to note in the meantime, we are seeing a massive rush of infantry up to the northern side, the 4-pack coming on out, and these Germans are looking, well, it looks like they're huddling together for warmth as that sea of blue closes in around them.
They are completely surrounded, yeah, and I'm wondering what these guys are going to be. Probably Ranger flamethrowers.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm thinking so. You we can't actually see who they actually unload, of course, but really it's just that blob in the middle. It's a pretty good position because they can use their machine guns, yeah, in most of the engagements areas anyway. And they want to try and have those open ground engagements in that forest area, which is a little bit of a contradiction itself.
Now we are going to see this M1 trying to sneak on forwards, and it looks this P2 is going to catch him out instead anyway.
Yep.
Question is whether or not, though, the 57mm.
Get secure.
Never mind. Dang it.
There goes that small little P2.
He's cute, and he's just too cute to live, apparently.
Yeah, and now he's blown up. Got a lot of support chats here. It's all supports. Yeah, unloaded up north. So you can only get 6 supports. Yeah, it's 4 up top. Yeah, it's 2 down south. That's all the range of supports you can get from now on.
I get the feeling that was really kind of a bad idea. Here's that Rebelfin, though. He's going to put up a sheet of flak that you could walk on. And very intelligently, we'll see very soon that P-38 is going to back away.
Yeah, that wasn't the best idea, I'd say. 2 supports would have been a good idea, but you kind of want to hold on to a little bit more for later on in the match, because that's just a lot of availability lost, right? Yeah, and he really needs some sort of fire support or artillery to clear out, concentration of German units.
Nevertheless, it's going to be about 50-50 in a second here. Yep. Back to 50-50 flat. So Germans up about 140-ish tickets intact. In fact, exactly that. And we're going to see a couple of 250s coming on in. Good decision or not quite?
250/9s?
Yep.
Yep, they're good. They're auto-cannon. It's cheap. And they can help deal with the Ranger supports. Your 76mm getting pinned down there, so it's going to give the 50/9 a little bit of maneuverability. And right now, just these cheap fire support units are going to work very well in Turgon's favour. There's no real Sherman or real scary tank stuff on the field to stop him.
So how does he push back in the north, though? So you say we have all these guys kind of huddled around him for warmth and kind of really and just to stay alive. What do you throw together to break this little bubble?
Artillery. Mortars. Because you can get a lot of artillery, especially in A phase for Partisans. So just an 81mm mortar, blow these guys up, and then just move through the ranges would be a good idea. Because they are very clumped together.
Let's flip that, though, on its head, though. What about the Germans? How did the Germans turn this back around?
You mean up north?
Indeed.
They can't really fight through the forest because they just get destroyed by the rangers. It's going to be about trying to secure the roads and attacking through the air, but it's just too much forest that they have to clear out, and they can't do that effectively. I mean, as you see, we got the ranger guys behind the little blob of German units just moving around, and they pretty much have that forest end area completely under their control. There's nothing stopping them. And it's just going to come down to really the Germans trying to attack through the middle. They got some very good ground advantage, and trying to get into these open ground engagements is going to allow them to hopefully win this match.
Seems about accurate. Rebel Vin continuing to kind of encourage airplanes to go elsewhere, but nevertheless, that 222 is going to fall back in the face. But that's a 20mm cannon on the back of that, right?
37mm with 250 cals. It's a scary piece of kit.
True. Very, very strange looking one, I have to think.
Yep.
And down to the south, actually, 2 P-38 Lightnings coming in to take out that poor Panzerführer. Now, we are approaching Phase B. We've honestly looked at the decks for both of these, but theoretically, what will we see? How's the matchup going to look?
Well, for Partisan, you can probably get some tanks, such as Wolverines, to help clear out this southern section. Maybe some rifles to just bolster up the infantry forces. You know, really, B-phase, Turgon can start getting proper tanks out, such as Panzer IVs, and if he's feeling ballsy enough, a B-phase Panther. Or actually a Tiger would actually be pretty good, get Mr. Rickman on the field. And more infantry as well, because this southern section is looking pretty ripe for the taking. We've got a few machine gun squads and marauders, and really just that 76mm gun, you know, it's out of HE ammunition, so the infantry could just run up right to it.
True indeed. Now, in terms of air power, we've seen a couple of P-38 Lightnings coming out already. What does the 12th bring to the field?
I think there's some Messerschmitts, maybe some Focke-Wulfs that don't really have that much in terms of planes. And really, if I was Turgon, I would get just interceptor planes instead of bomber planes to try to help secure the skies.
And kind of straight targets of opportunity.
Exactly. If you only have like 3 or 4 slots worth of airplanes, you might as well just try to take interceptors, because they're very important for killing down planes, even though AA is now a little bit better.
Mortar half-track, almost getting that flak track from the Americans, just like that. But we go into Phase B right now. Where are we? 53 to 47. Americans have just taken the lead again. In terms of raw ticketage, and again, I can't help but feel that this bubble in the north is just going to cause continual issues until the Germans manage to do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, you mean the bubble of infantry up north? Like the
Ranger assault behind it, and then again the 2 to the west of that.
I mean, it's also good that the Germans, so they're pretty much holding that on for very, very easily. It's nothing is exactly attacking them, and if the Americans were to decide to just show and clear it out, that would be a nice bit of map under their control, and then they can send all these rangers to the right-hand side to try and secure this more open area, because this is really blocking him from moving anything up to reinforce his ranger assaults behind enemy lines.
And I am happy you're noting that, because I kind of feel like there is a missed opportunity here. He has all these ranger supports. He has the ranger assault. He's got an M1. He dives west with even half of his cut-off group, and dives east with the guys on the other side of that salient from the Germans. I think this would have been crushed a long time ago.
Exactly, and we got finally a mortar out on the field, but it's not unloaded. You may want to unload that, because all he needs is one mortar, one airstrike, just anything to clear out this like bubble, because they're pretty much out in the open now. They have nowhere really to run.
Very, very true, and I think the Germans are actually tired of having all of these Americans in their flank, or even perhaps in their rear. Yep. Sturm Pioneers coming in with flamethrowers, so that Flammenwerfer is going to do incredible work.
Yeah, they're pretty even compared to the Ranger assaults. in terms of equipment, but really the Ranger Assaults do have the, what's it called? The veterancy, which is going to help get those first good hits. But if he can just, I mean, 2-on-1 Stern Pioneers versus Ranger Assaults, I do give it to the Sturms.
And as that matter as well, we're also going to see another P2 coming on in. A little plucky light vehicle that he is, as well as another Panzerwaffe. Ooh.
Oh, there we go. He's going to rev some Panzers.
I always feel better when other people can't talk the same as much as I do.
Yeah,
ME-109 is going to be... Oh my god, he's going up against Gabreski! And Gabreski is not... Oh no, so Gabreski's going to make it away, it looks like, I'm guessing.
Oh, the rubber end's going in.
But no, he just wants to force people back. He doesn't care so much. He's like, forget it, they can go away. Ranger Assaults and Ranger Leader continue to move further and further east, and the Germans are really threatening to clean this on up.
Yep, and just like I said before, if he managed to get his Ranger supports up and really clear up a little bubble, he could have sent some support to help the Rangers.
But I don't think it's going to happen. Indeed, we're going to see... Well, it's going to be a question of who gets pinned down first, and one Stern Pioneer squad is going to get roasted, I think. Nope, never mind. There it goes.
There we go. And that's going to clear that up. We only got that one leader and support behind enemy lines now, so... Yeah, that's not looking good. The Germans are starting to clean this up.
And I don't think I noticed this, but we did see an M4A1 coming on in Command 1, so not the most sterling example of what we're concerned about there, excuse me. But regardless, somehow these 250/9s have been able to not get taken on out. Never mind, there goes one.
And really,
very
that Sherman is going to be very potent until Turgon actually gets in a proper tank.
True. Now, I'm trying to think, where is that Panzerwaffe? Okay, he's up to the top still. Now, and at long last, we are seeing an attack being kind of coming on in with the 107 Stovepipe doing some good work, but he's aiming for the scout car, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to force it to retreat, but I'd really go for the Panzer Grenadiers right now. Try to pin the last squad down.
P-38 Lightning, by the way, in the backfield, he's going to get pushed and taken out in a second here.
Yeah, it was a...
That's done.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm the Panzerwaffe, and I'm Werfing Panzers, yep, he's aiming right now. He's aiming for the northern block, I guarantee you.
Oh, yeah,
yes, he is.
And that's just a huge chunk of infantry. And really, Partisan has lost quite a lot of his infantry already, and he's not going to get much in terms of reinforcements in the later games, so... Maybe just due to, sheer attrition, Turgon can take this northern forest.
Well, these Ranger Leader and the Ranger Assault are continuing to move back west. I don't know if he's trying to get guys under his leadership bubble again or something like that, but Stern Pioneers don't seem to be willing to let them off the hook either.
Nope, they're going to be coming in, and, okay, the Ranger Assault and Ranger Leader are barely exposed on the road, so if he moves on Stern Pioneers and then rushes in the half-track, I think his half-track is going to get flamed in a little bit.
We have two half-tracks right there, too, so the question is whether or not can they force any kind of morale damage first. Whoa, I just saw an ME-109 just dance across me. Gabreski's back.
There we go.
Freaking Gabreski.
Can Gabby get him?
He's going to get him.
Gabby gets him.
That's one kill right there, so he's having a good day already. Ranger Leader gets pinned on down, and he's completely Winchester on those awesome charges that he has.
Yep. And it's just a cleanup crew now on, and with all these half-tracks coming into support, they can help make sure that bubble doesn't get completely popped.
Well, I'm kind of amused right now. All 5 of those infantry squads in that kind of very close combat are all suppressed or pinned down.
Yep. They all just kind of suppressed each other. I mean,
indeed.
They both are heavy machine gun squads with... Oh, okay, light machine gun squads, but they can put down a heavy amount of fire.
Well, and also, I don't know if you just saw the shade come out, but it seems that Michael Wittmann is coming onto the field.
Okay, there we go. And he's bringing it into that, northern middle section here. Probably try to fight those Shermans.
Definitely a possibility. But you know what, again, that bubble got cleaned up, and what's the map control right now? 53-47 Germany.
Germans are really taking this back, and, having this whole middle area under their control is helping out a lot with that map control. They still could do something down south, but... It seems like they're still pretty content with just holding. And now with the Tiger on the field, those Shermans aren't going to have a good time.
I will say though, I'm a little bit nervous for the life of these indirect fire units in the center part of the map. You do see that command M4A1. He's moving on forward with a purpose.
Oh yeah, he's getting him real close. I mean, the Lukes could get a side shot if he decides to hold, but I think the Sherman might spot and kill out of rival Rind. And I'm quite surprised, really, because Partisan has a very artillery-heavy deck, and he's hardly used any artillery this match. And really, when you play second infantry, you can't just want to artillery spam the enemy to hell and back with xylophones, mortars, howitzers, etc.
How about just air power? I mean, geez, he hasn't really got. He has, ground attack with strafing, but he hasn't had any kind of legitimate.
Yeah, you could get some thunderbolts out or lightnings with rockets. So I'd honestly just recommend getting the thunderbolts, to be entirely honest. But yeah, he's using a lot of direct fire units, and really he needs someone in direct fire to help out because yeah, the Germans are really massing up a force.
This P2 is gonna get a flank shot here. Oh my God, this is gonna be beautiful.
No, is he? Is he going to?
Oh, he's bouncing. Oh man, that was so gorgeous.
Shooter's
knocked out. He's got 8 seconds. Charge him! It's not gonna happen now. Oh man, that P2 that would have been glorious. But the Wittmann's coming on in, and Wittmann might be able to get there in time. Nope, that P2's gonna go down.
Oh, is that the 222's gonna? Oh!
Wait, whoa! What the heck was that? Was that in fact a 222?
No, the Sherman turned around, and the Lukes, I believe, got the penetration shot.
Oh well, that Lukes are not gonna have too long to celebrate. You see 2 Ranger Marauder squads coming on up, and those are Zooks.
Yep.
And that's not gonna be pretty.
Not going to be pretty indeed. No, Zooks are going to prove to be a rather dangerous threat to the Tiger, as it's rather close to Ant Forest. So once he sees his Panzer II get knocked out, which is definitely a certainty at this point, he should, move the Tiger back a bit.
Run away!
Oh, will the Lukes get out?
I'm praying. I won't lie.
Yeah, no.
There are some rifles coming onto the field. Never mind. Are some rifles coming onto the field? And you said about the Ranger support being so much better, and
Well, at long range, the Ranger support can dish out 8 HE, while the rifles can only do 3 HE their bars.
True. I wasn't going to say the M1919s as well.
Yeah.
Or quite maybe that much. I would like to see from the German side of things, maybe the couple of Sturm Pioneers coming in to continue to clear out these forests. All he has right now is 1 lone trooper who's going to get taken out immediately the second those Ranger Marauders see him.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe the Stun Pioneer can get a good shot off. Try to get a stun off with his flamethrower, but yeah, it's just going to be very cautious of the Ranger Marauders. So the Tiger's moving up. He could get a good position, possibly.
Well, I do kind of like, too, we do see this Command Sherman's got an engine destroyed, and I agree with the fact that Turgon is not going to go and be super aggressive about it. He's just kind of letting it sit there. Who cares? It's a gun emplacement that I don't have to worry about. Though, if he moves too much further, he will find himself under that gun. And help me out. With the engine destroyed, can they still rotate on an axis, or are they completely and totally stuck?
I think they're completely and totally stuck.
Because frankly, whenever I see a... what I'm looking for here. Whenever I see an engine destroyed, the guy never seems to last long enough anyway. So
yeah, because usually when a tank gets critically hit like that, it's always 1 shot away from death. And
exactly.
Speaking of death, oh wow, Tiger missed. Really get second shot.
So help me God, if Pittman goes down, that's just going to continue. I'm okay.
Yeah, the Tiger's going to win that engagement. The Sherman
well, he should win that engagement. But how many times have we seen the Wittmann Tiger do nothing?
Yeah, I mean, Tigers in this game are very flimsy. They're not, like Company of Heroes where they're big unstoppable killing machines when you get that veteran Tiger Ace out. Here, there's a lot of allied guns that can pen you at max range. So you pretty much got to use it much more...
circumspectly?
Yeah, you got to be much more careful with it. And also because it has the big hero thing and it's a Tiger, everyone's like, okay, I'm going to devote all my resources just to kill it. It's like when you get a King Tiger out, you just get plane trained.
True, and so help me God, that's happened more than a few times to me.
Yeah.
Now, we are going to see a 4-pack again of Riflemen trying to move up just behind these Shermans, and I'm also seeing a very opportunistic push on this Pack 40, and bam, that's 1 shot, 1 kill there. I don't think you can quite see the other M4A1 just yet.
Nope.
No, he's
But
going to be able to,
real.
though, very, very quickly. This is going to be close.
Oh, Sherman ducked back into cover, yo. And, oh, yeah, it's a strafing run there from Gabby and the Lightning. That's going to
Curse
save
that
that
man.
Sherman.
Curse that Gabby. The anti-tanker would have gotten it if not for that meddling Francis.
Yo, oh, if that Sherman... Well, he doesn't have line of sight in the Pack 40, so if he just stays there and, you know, gets his morale back up, he could potentially get a second shot, which seems to be the case.
Stone Pioneers, by the way, are totally going to wreck these Marauders.
Yep. Burn, baby, burn.
And that's one. And the pack went down. Poor sod.
Yeah. And
yeah, go ahead.
Partisan could have had a much better hold in his forest, even though he has a limited amount of infantry compared to, well, rangers compared to Turgon with his more diverse infantry force. Having those guys behind enemy lines, all the supports up here doing nothing for the longest time, he really didn't devote his resources entirely around. Because of that, he's losing his forest slow. Oh, you see that range of
Yeah,
border?
I'm seeing that too, and it's gonna piss me off.
Oh, it misses. It misses. Will
Flee!
they get a second shot?
No, he's gonna go back into. Oh no, I thought he was gonna back further into the forest, but he's hanging in there.
Misses again, Jesus, really?
Thing's the size of a small house. How do you miss it? Okay, third time though. Here's the rubber meets the road.
There we go.
And just continuing the fact that Michael Bittman does nothing.
Yep. He killed like a Sherman, and yeah, that was a dumb position. You don't bring a tiger into a forest.
I think he saw one of those guys. Therefore, there must be nobody else in there, and that just
He got way too cocky with the tiger. I mean, my personal rule of thumb is when I'm using a tank, I always try to keep it 200 meters out of a forest line of sight, because you never know where a sneaky bazooka or Panzerfaust could be.
True. Very, very true. I admit, honestly, I just went down to the south to zoom in on those 4 squads of riflemen running across the road, and I was like, wow, if you've ever seen a chance for a machine gun, that would have been it.
Mm-hmm. Or bomb and strike, or an artillery strike, but
that's
a lot of rifles.
Boy the Firefly finally comes in, by the way.
Oh wow, that is strange choice to bring up. I mean, after A phase, I wouldn't even really bother getting it, because it's still... I mean, it's not... It got Sherman up here to kill, but if you can get a Boy to Firefly, why not just save out a little bit more, get another Tiger, or... You know...
Something, indeed.
Get like a Panzer IV, it's cheaper.
Wait, we are seeing the ME-109 was... Okay, the ME-109 was going after Francis for a second, but this other P Thunderbolt...
Oh, the Thunderbolt gets Rayo. And Francis too.
Now, we are also going to see a GMC as well as a 5-pack of rifles trying to push out the Strom Pioneers. Strom Pioneers will probably end up giving their lives, but they're going to sell them rather dearly.
Mm-hmm.
ME-109 goes down in the meantime, too.
I mean, I don't have enough ammunition to deal with all the rifles, so... Yeah, I don't give them the best chances, to be honest.
Honestly, 100 meters, though, they're going to get in within that 100 meters, and that is going to be a lot of stress.
First pin down.
If he can stress these guys out, he might even manage a miracle couple of surrenders.
Oh.
And that would just be the shock and awe. Never mind. Never mind. I take that back.
Yep.
The 5149, we will see it's about 300-ish to about 940-ish.
Yeah.
And frankly, I don't know who has the advantage right now. What do you think?
Well, we got a lot of rifles being brought up north to try and clear things out, so he can probably secure that sector, and he needs to bring some ammunition for that mortar. It's been out of ammo for quite a while. But, I don't know. Partisan's getting some good pressure down in the center and getting his Sherman to get some shots on the rebel end. Maybe get a Wolverine to try to help fight out middle area. Maybe some more infantry to try to move up. I know, it's a weird position because both sides are kind of attacking in different areas.
True, true. Now, Boy the Firefly down to the south, I'm wondering if he could be useful if he just moved a little bit further north? Give us the Aufklär, perhaps, maybe move in that area. He's got to know his opponent doesn't have much in the way of AT.
Yeah. I don't think the Firefly is even a good choice to really bring out this later on to begin with, because it can't do any infantry support. And there's a lot of infantry that need to be supported with all those rifles in that forest. And
Very accurate.
I think Partisan, his best bet in this middle is just kind of spread out his rifles, just kind of charge through like Road War 1 and have some support guns and tanks backing him up to help clear this out.
Well, someone gets on that first Sherman, and in fact, that was that first Panther coming on in. This other M4A1 trying to get line of sight on somebody. Not going to happen easily. Panther, in the meantime, is going to slide down to the south, and, you know, the second he gets any sort of LOS on that Sherman, it's just whoever's quicker on the trigger.
Yeah.
And I might have to give the benefit on that one might be to Hans.
Yeah,
not easily.
The Panther, at that range too, the Sherman has to get at least within 500 meters or even have a chance of penning.
Ruben, let's kick on that range for a second. Yeah, so he's definitely outside of that 500, isn't he?
Yep. Yeah, he misses first shot too. The other Panther is not going to be engaging back, which seems a bit silly.
He's playing with his food.
Yep.
There we go. Now he sees it. Now it's an engagement, and this is the end of the Sherman.
Yep. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm so surprised those German guys are still alive and kicking in that little bubble.
True. There were a couple that did go down. That's not the original Panther Grenadier Führer. But still worth noting, those guys are quite alive and kicking.
Yeah, and that's really the main defensive location that allowed Turgon to keep hold of this forest. That's really the key to the match right now, I'd say. The little defensive spot.
And what's more, I'm looking at this. We have still the Panzerwerfer up north, and he's fully kitted back up. He's fully reloaded. And it's also that mortar half-track as well. So I'm can't but feel that those two guys really should be thanked a lot for their work.
Yeah, I mean, the Panzerwerfer and mortar's been keeping the infantry at bay, and with his rifle blob moving in the southern side of the forest, you know, all it takes is a little bit of rough, and they're going to be running back home.
Definitely true. Definitely true. Now, I'm not seeing any kind of targeting just yet. I don't think he even sees anything. I'm going to click on over to Turgon's level. You can see nothing right now.
Yeah, very blind.
But rifles coming on in, he's going to see a hell of a lot more in a second. I'm wondering if he's just going to start to pound that area. Not aiming just yet. But it could be rather dicey, rather quick.
Yeah.
Now, Rhino to the north takes out the 222. That wasn't particularly a big shock there.
And with the Rhino, if he wants to move off of the range of supports now, he now has an actual supporting tank to help finish up his little bubble.
True. Very true. Now, and again, Turgon, he has to be seeing all this other infantry coming on in. How does he not see this? I mean, contact, he knows about the tank. But he still doesn't know about that blob that's coming in. The second he sees that, I guarantee that Panzerwerfer is just going to launch a crazy amount of rockets.
Yeah.
But the bubble's going to die in a second. It's getting lanced as we speak.
Yeah, we got the 50 cal truck, yeah, giving some good fire. And a little bit too cocky as a range of support. I wouldn't move him that close, bud, but sure, whatever.
Been down, and that's a death right there. So, scouts go down. And now bombs are just coming like crazy. That, again, that should have been done about 10 minutes ago, I feel like.
Yep. He's a little bit late, yeah, and we've still got two Panzergrens barely still alive. But there's no infantry to actually spot him, so they're going to be able to hold their ground for a little bit longer.
And Panzerwerfer now knows where that... oh, no, he's not. He's aiming for way further south. He's going after that anti-tank position.
Huh. I mean, he has two salvos with the Panzerwerfer to take advantage of, so he can always use a second salvo on the rifles.
Ooh, beautiful, beautiful rocket hit.
Direct hit, right? Yeah, good kill.
I will say, additionally, there is still an Opel Blitz behind that mortar half-track. And he's just staying fully kitted on out. He's completely fine. Panzer going to fire. Okay, they're just trying to draw him in and then going to completely pelt the last Ranger support squad. It's 6-4, and I don't know who's going to win this one.
Yeah, Sherman's going to be brought up, and the Panzer is pretty much buggered. And that's finally going to clear out the middle section of the forest for Partisan to start moving up. And, well, it's going to be a draw at his current point bleed, but if Partisan was to try and clear out the rest of this forest, which I wouldn't give him the best advantage to, maybe. I know the Panthers, yeah, and they got flight support too, but...
Quick look, you want to go down to the south, there's a Xylophone going to open up on this light vehicle logger. And there was a P4 down there as well, or maybe a Panther, and he got taken on out. I can't tell if it was from perhaps... Oh, no, there's an M5 down there, too, so another 76mm probably taking him on out. Junker, though, stepping into an attack run, drops his bombs, and I think that's going to hammer. Position, yep, there it goes. There it goes. And again, look at the blob. Look at the blob. The blob is real.
He's... I mean, this isn't Company of Heroes 2 Americans, I thought, but jeez.
You know what? You know what? You pretend like you know exactly what you're talking about there.
Hey, I know how you win Americans in Code 2. You buy bazookas, you buy bars, okay, you buy M1919s, you blob them up, you get a platoon leader, and then you just kind of rust panzers. You rust against the panzers.
Okay, that might be fair. Okay. I guess I'm okay with that.
Okay, that's
222, by the way, looking to find that xylophone. He's not going to find any kind of music today, though. Oh no, he's going to see it.
Yep. We got Sherman there to maybe save it, but
I would not be too impressed by that. Again, the 222 just has to take 2 seconds. He sees it. It's over. There we go.
There we go.
He can now die happy. So help me God, he will.
Yeah, he's gonna die. If he just went a little bit right down the road, he would be safe, but he's retreating in a silly way.
No, he's falling on his sword, though, it looks like.
Yeah. Going down in a hail of machine gun fire.
Shockingly enough, he's still not dead yet. Wow, how many rounds is he firing at this guy?
I mean, it has to just be Trish cheese at the moment.
You know, he's getting a lot of work done here. There, he finally goes down, but he wasted so much ammunition.
Yep.
Actually, that GMC with the 37mm with a couple of 50 cals.
Oh, it's completely out.
I was going to say, he's completely Winchester there, and now that rifle blob inside the forts, they're going to push back against these Panzer Grenadiers. Trying to figure out what kind of indirect fire the Germans might have against that.
Yeah, or another Ju-88 run, but look at this little light tank assault going on along the southern sector.
I'm oddly inspired by that. Transmission, crew knocked out. Now, if these guys rush him, they could take him.
Yeah, he just needs to get the surrender. They can't exactly pen him, so it's going to be about getting that surrender instead, because it's not actually any proper tanks, it's just autocannons.
Transmission's damaged. Death by 1,000 cut.
Yeah. It might be enough HE damage to maybe kill it, but it seems like it's just going to be a surrender, to be honest.
Bounce. Okay, guys, you're really starting to kill me here.
Just get a little bit closer, 250, just a bit north. 50 meters or so, 100 meters, come on.
Crew knocked out, 5 seconds, that should be enough. Come on, it has to be enough.
I think he's just trying to get the penetration. There we go.
There, okay, yep.
Okay, finally, thank you.
Yes?
He's gonna want another tank to really help his southern assault, because 2 rhinos being brought up, it's not gonna be too great.
True, but if he does the same thing now over to the Americans that were done to him in the north, if he can blow this bubble.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
There's nothing else down there.
Yeah, no.
In fact, that would completely clean up the entire the entire American flank.
Yeah, if he was to pop that bubble, that's going to be a lot of ground. That could potentially get him up to a +2 point advantage.
I was going to say, as of right now, it's no longer actually going to be a draw. We could see a minor victory here if all stays the same, of course.
Yeah, I want to say his Panther up top has really done nothing. It killed a Sherman, but that's really it. And I'd say that Panther, I know, maybe down south in the middle, it would be in a much better location, because you can't really use heavy tanks like that in a forest engagement.
I think at this point it's really just a race against time. Can Turgon be able to clean up the bubble, or will these rhinos get in instead? And I think we're going to see the rhinos make that happen.
I mean, that Ju-88 should hopefully be reloaded just soon, so you can help clear it up, and the other rhinos are coming in, like you said. It's gonna charge.
Now, there is a P4 coming on out. He's coming down the southern road here, and if the wrong targets are selected...
Ooh. Good hit.
Selected, then Turgon might be able to take out both of the Shermans, but it doesn't look like right now either one of those 250s are going to survive very long. There goes one. There's a third rhino coming out as well. Don't believe what you hear, man. Rhinos are not extinct. They're not endangered at all, it looks like. Good God.
Well, back in 1945, of course. Or 44. God damn it.
True. I do enjoy, by the way, all the Americans, they're pretty much out of BAR ammo in that forest, so
Yep.
all their firepower is completely gone.
And that's the problem with rifles. The barge is not much ammo. It's not even really a proper machine gun to really start off with. So you really just want to get them close within 300 meters so you can take advantage of their M1 Garans.
True.
Oh,
And there's that
that's a
Ju-88,
Oh,
and that's the bombs, and this is going to be beautiful.
wow.
Yep.
There we go. I mean,
Still
this-
2 squads there, but not going to be enough, I don't think.
I mean, you can't really attack with it, but at the same time, Turgon doesn't really have enough to really get a surrender or to clear it out. It's just a lot of infantry there.
Now, Verbovind in the backfield is putting a lot of firepower out on all of the, let's say, unfriendly aviation.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I've been kind of surprised to see is that we actually haven't seen that many aircraft deaths from ground fire just yet. Panzerwerfer, Werfing, as you say, Panzers down the center part of the field, and we'll probably see a couple of surrenders coming out from the rifles.
Yep, and that's... I mean... Yeah, we got pretty good attacks here from Turgon. It's really cleaning up his middle area. But he doesn't need to attack to win. I mean, it's only 2 minutes left, so I really give it to him at the moment. Oh,
And
never mind.
Partisano surrenders.
I wasn't even paying attention to the time, but yeah, it's a GG.
That's surprising. So not winning by knockout, but winning by surrender. 12-12 to 742. Very
close
strange
in
ending to
kills.
that.
Only like a 200 kill difference roughly, which is pretty close. And also considering that was pretty light in terms of tanks for the trophy sets. You know, they get Panthers and Tigers, but all we saw was one Tiger and one Panther throughout the rest of the match. It's really a lot of those 222s, those 250/9s, and infantry units. Yeah, it helped win, and artillery. It helped win the match. Yeah, for Turgon.
Now, and I'm very surprised. Actually, if you look at the kills and losses, no real standouts for the Germans. And it seemed that the Germans had a lot more kills there. I don't know if that was just, observational bias or what. But, yeah, very strange game, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really any... that map is pretty hard to attack on, to be entirely honest, because, yeah, forest area is just knife fight galore, and in the middle and southern area is also pretty knife fighty, because you've got a lot of line of sight blockers and a lot of hedgerows that you have to navigate, so it's not inviting to attack compared to other maps where it just kind of opens up once you get past the opponent's middle defensive area.
More than fair. So any kind of closing thoughts you think for the match today?
No, it's just pretty good. And, I just think, what's his name? Partisano is a little bit too forward with all his rangers. And after he kind of lost all his infantry, or his good infantry, he didn't exactly have much to hold on to. He's holding on with just meat shields, his rifle meat shields.
True. And I mean, if it's one thing the Americans have a lot of that way of bullets, but need to have somebody left around to hold that territory.
Yeah, someone to help shoot back.
Who cares about shooting back? Just send more men. But all right, I think that's about gonna do it for us today. So this has been Con Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru. Take it easy.
Take it easy.